Hi guys, today I'm going to go through the brow products from the new Freedom range. This has been the most highly requested video when I showed you the new stuff that was coming. And the reason I didn't post last week was because the brand wasn't on Superdrug's website yet, which is something that I'd promised it was going to be, and I swear I thought it was going to be, but it didn't quite make it as quickly as we expected it to. So I thought I would hold off posting again until I knew it was definitely on there, because I know lots of you want to see it in store, and I now have a list as well, I'll link that below, of all the stores it's going to be in. So all the questions I was getting last time, I didn't really want to post again until I could answer them. So all of that will be in the info bar, where you can buy it in store and the fact that you can buy it on Superdrug's website as well as Freedom's website. I have had so many questions about the brow pomade. I've mentioned it in my own videos and stuff on Instagram and things, and so many people have wanted to know more about it. And so I'm going to show you how I use it in this video today. Also, I did show it kind of being used in a video on my own channel earlier this week. And I showed it quite bold, so I'm going to try and show you it being used a little bit lighter and also with the powder over the top, because I find if you want to have not as bold a brow, using the powder as kind of to lock it in, but also to make it look a bit more natural and lighten it up if you want to, because they can look quite dark. So the colour I'm going to use is the blonde shade, and I'm going to use this, it's quite a thick tufty brush. I tried to use, I've done it with various different application techniques, but I tried to use it with a very fine brush at first, and it worked very well, but it was very precise brow and quite bold, not quite a natural looking brow, which is what I prefer. I like something quite bold, but something that doesn't look kind of drawn on, which I think is really easy to do when you're using kind of cream products like this. It's easy to go wrong. Whereas I found something that's a little bit thicker, a little bit fluffier, but still very small is much easier to use. It doesn't even necessarily need to be angled. So I'll zoom in for this portion. So as you can see, that's fairly light. It's a light application. It's quite dry, it's bizarre. It is a creamy formula and it is blendable, but it's quite dry. And so you can put a tiny amount on your brush and just kind of sweep it along as if it was a very soft pencil. So you can do a quite light application like that, but I'm going to go a little bit bolder than this. Now I'm going to go in with the palest shade. There's very little difference in the blonde, but that is the palest shade, over the top of that brow pomade with the powder, and it gives a little bit of dimension. I mentioned this when we were talking about the brow palette initially, with the wax and then the powder over top, to give it a little bit of dimension and make your brows look fuller. But also, if you are wanting, especially if you've got darker brows than this and you use like a brown and you go in with a lighter brown, you're going to get a little bit more of a natural finish, because not everybody's brows naturally are exactly one dead on colour. They might have a little bit of a highlight to them. Now, if you are naturally very fair, which I've been there, not naturally, but I've had very like white blonde hair, and I really struggled with brow products, I would go for a darker shade that is cooler toned, and I'm going to show you all of the swatches along the screen now. As you could see, I mean, I could go even lighter than what I showed you, and especially if you've got very pale brows naturally, you could get away with an even lighter application. But potentially, if you do want a very fair brow, I would go in with the powders alone. Now, what else is available just recently, another thing that has launched at the same time, is this, and it's the HD palette. Let me just check. It is called the Pro HD Brow Palette, so close enough. And these are available in 2 different shades. This is the palest or the fairest of the 2. And you've got 6, but potentially 12, because they're all split into 2. So 6 different brow powders. Then you've got a highlight in kind of a shimmery, powdery highlight. And then you've got a highlight in a cream as well, which is kind of something that you will see throughout the new range. That you can get everything that you want in kind of some kind of powder or cream formulation, which is fantastic, because not everybody wants the same thing. Powder is not necessarily my thing, because my brows need to kind of be created from nothing. As you could see, what I have right now is far bolder than my natural brow. I have very, very fair, not particularly fair, I suppose. If they were thicker, they wouldn't look as fair. It's mostly sparse. I'm going to blame the 90s for over plucking for my brow problem. But powder doesn't really do it for me on its own because it doesn't really fill in enough. So I need to either put a wax on underneath to give it something to grab to. Did we hear that? Or these brow pomades are just like life for me. With it you also get a brush, which is, like I say, smaller, but it is a little bit thicker, which is what I'm tending to gravitate towards with these new products. And you also get some stencils if you are so inclined, although I haven't tried the stencils myself yet. And that is it. That's everything for the kind of new brow. So I hope that that's answered a lot of your questions, and the things that have been up on screen whilst I've been talking, the different swatches and stuff, have helped you out. For those of you that are kind of thinking about maybe trying one of these products, I did just want to show you a swatch of this while we're here. I mean, I use the tiniest amount, and it's very, very soft. That is just me kind of just touching it and stamping it on my hand, but you can blend it out. There we go. So that's me stamping it on my hand, just like as bold as it will be. But if you use the tiniest amount, they do blend. So you can use a very, very small amount and blend it out onto your brows and get a much, much fairer result if that's what you're into. So don't be worried that it's going to be too opaque or too dark, because it all depends on how you apply it and what you want. It's just really practice and making it work for you. But that's it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to be back next week, potentially with contour stuff, because that was kind of the second most requested. There's been tons of new contour stuff from the brand with like highlighters. There's even a strobing cream, which is really cool, and I'm going to try and apply that in the next video, which is why I'm so plain-faced right now. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to this channel and check all the links out below, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!